Chapter 1. The Broken Horse. Tina was a 6-year-old cute girl. She is very fond of wooden toys, especially she had a beautiful wood horse gifted by her uncle when she was 2 years old. The wooden horse has been her close pal and her pet. She has a 9-year-old brother. She went on a vacation to a nature resort in the woods with her family. She carried the wooden horse with her. She enjoyed her holiday with her family in the woods. While she was packing things with her brother as they planned to return home, the wooden horse fallen down and one of the legs were broken. Tina was too sad and silently cried for her horse. She was very upset. They packed all things and left the woods. Entire family tried to cheer up the sweet little girl, but Tina was so silent, very upset. Tina's brother tried to console her a lot. They had a break for lunch and Tina refused to eat. Her mama requested her to eat food. She ate a very little amount of food. While others were eating, she sat quietly in their car. Her brother came to her and kissed her cheek, told her, "Tina dear, don't worry, don't get upset dear. It is only a wooden toy. The horse doesn't have a life like us and it is just a lifeless thing. Don't be so sad for the broken leg. Even if the horse loses its tail, it won't be hurting the horse. Even if all 4 legs are broken, the wooden horse remains same. Even if the horse loses its head, it won't be painful. I will buy a new wood horse for you." Tina replied, "You think it doesn't matter that a leg of my pet toy was broken?" Her brother replied, "Yes dear." Tina replied, "Yes brother, you are right. It won't be a major issue for you even if the horse is broken into pieces at this age. But if you are in my age, if you had a pet like I had, you will feel how painful it would be too even if a small part of horse is broken." Her brother left silently. Just like Tina, everyone has different feelings of different aspects. What we considered of no importance will be a treasure of somebody. Chapter 2. In the moonlight, he picked a buttercup and held it up to her chin. "Do you like butter?" he asked. "Butter?" she exclaimed. "They are not made into butter. They are made into crowns for the queen. She has a new one every morning." "I'll make you a crown," he said. "You shall wear it tonight." "But where will my throne be?" she asked. "It shall be on the middle step of the stile by the cornfield." So when the moon rose I went out to see. He wore a red jacket and his cap with the feather in it. Round her head there was a wreath of buttercups. It was not much like a crown. On one side of the wreath there were some daisies, and on the other was a little bunch of blackberry blossom. "Come and dance in the moonlight," he said. So she climbed up and over the stile, and stood in the cornfield holding out her 2 hands to him. He took them in his, and then they danced round and round all down the pathway, while the wheat nodded wisely on either side, and the poppies awoke and wondered. On they went, on and on through the cornfield towards the broad green meadows stretching far into the distance. On and on, he shouting for joy, and she laughing out so merrily that the sound traveled to the edge of the wood, and the thrushes heard, and dreamed of spring. On they went, on, and round, he in his red jacket, and she with the wild flowers dropping one by one from her wreath. On and on in the moonlight, on and on till they had danced all down the cornfield, till they had crossed the green meadows, till they were hidden in the mist beyond.
That is all I know. But I think that in the far, far off somewhere, where the moon is shining. He and she still dance along a cornfield, he in his red jacket, and she with the wild flowers dropping from her hair.